All right, so this is the September 16th, 2021 LWIA 23 Planning and Oversight Committee meeting. This meeting is being recorded, so please keep that in mind that anything that comes across your screen or over your mic will be a matter of public record. So when you are not speaking, keep yourself muted. If you're calling in to mute, I believe it's *6 to mute and the same to unmute. Otherwise, thank you for joining us today virtually. We were really optimistic that we would be meeting in person, but yeah, that obviously did not work out yet again. So we're gonna get optimistic again for December, but you just keep reading those newsletters to stay up on if we're able to do it in person or if it will be virtual again in December. So with that being said, thank you. I will turn it over to Mike to call the meeting to order.
Good afternoon. I'd like to call this meeting to order with a roll call, please.
Okay. Kevin Busher. I think he's here, but
Kevin's present.
there you go. Julie Overmark for Mike Conley. Mike Conrad,
Here.
Patty Metzger. You know she's on there. Jill Michael.
I'm here, sorry.
Oh, thank you, Patty. Jill Michael. Deacon Patient. Chris Stroll.
Here.
Kim Taylor.
Here.
Carol Tracy.
Here.
Jennifer Wagner. And Connie Walter. Okay, we officially have quorum, and just so you guys know, since we are holding this one as a virtual meeting, each time that we have a motion, we actually have to do a roll call vote. So just a little extra step, but just to make you guys aware.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions on the minutes from the June 17th meeting? If not, can I get a motion to approve them?
This is Carol, I'll approve.
Kim will
I don't have
second.
any.
And a second, please.
Kim can second if that's. what
Okay.
needs.
And now we need a roll call vote.
Okay, Kevin Busher.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm going to skip over anybody that isn't here. So Mike Conrad,
Yes.
Patty Metzger,
Yes.
Chris Stroll,
Yes.
Kim Taylor,
Yes,
Carol Tracy.
Yes.
Okay, we're good to go on that.
Thank you. Do we have any conflict of interest that we need to disclose at this point? Fantastic. Then, Deb, you are up
All right.
for the grant recipient financial aid reports. Okay.
Okay, so I sent out the packet. A lot of it is going to be the end of the last fiscal year numbers. So the very first thing is statement of expenditures for June of this year. We ended the year at 90.2%, so we were under budget. The only thing that was over budget was the publication and dues, just because of the unexpected starting the podcast. So is there any questions on that report? Okay, we will move on to the accounts payable report. A lot of the same old. There were several incumbent worker trainings that we paid for during that time period. There was a payment to DCO. We actually requested too much money for one of the grants that ended, so we did have to refund them the excess after that. And the only other thing I wanted to point out, it says Elon there. We actually got a new credit card company. So instead of Fifth Third, you'll now see Elon for our credit card charges, so. Any questions on that one? Okay, we shall move on to the key metrics report. And that one, you will see there's a few Fs that we typically don't have. The obligations for year one for the 20 grant. They did not hit the 80% requirements. So I did put what we ended the year, the percentages, to see how far off they were from the 80%. As you can see, the youth, which is going to be the topic over the next couple items, that we have a ways to go, a lot of money to get spent in the youth field for sure. On a positive note, we did submit a waiver and it was approved by DCO. We just have to, which I sent a copy of that waiver. We just have to, there's a few requirements that we have to do, including giving them regular reporting on how we are getting along with our plan. So I do want to point out for down at the bottom, the youth in school, not more than 50% of the budget. That one, we ended at 70.3, so we were sitting good on that one. And we are currently meeting the minimum percent for the work experience. We're at 21.8 as of June, and it's actually gone a little bit higher since then. So we're sitting on those. It's just a matter of, we have a lot of youth money to spend. So are there any questions on the key metrics report itself?
I do have one question. Youth in school and youth out of school dollars, is that still 2575?
The 21 grant will be the 2575 breakdown. So for the 20 grant, that stayed at the 50% for the course of the grant period. But the new grant that started July 1st, as of right now, is the 2575 breakdown. I think they said that they were going to try and get a statewide waiver, but it has not been approved. So we're going with the 2575 right now.
Thank you.
Okay. So then the next item, of course, was DCO's response in regards to our waiver. As you can see at the bottom of that first page, basically it says what we have to do to the conditions we have to follow, including with our quarterly reports, we do have to give updates. So so I don't know, youth, just in general, work experience, youth. I don't know if Lori and Elaine want to chime in on anything that they've got going that can maybe be a positive. Hey, we're working towards it and like that, but we definitely are trying to hit the goals that we told DCO we would go for. So we just have a lot of money to be spending. So any and all ideas are more than welcome. Any thoughts and comments or on the youth?
If anyone does think of an idea, I think you could email Jamie, myself, Laura, I'm on the youth committee, Lori, with any ideas in your area that might be beneficial to recruiting youth, whether in school or out of school.
I definitely agree with what Chris just said, and I just want to make sure you guys understand this waiver means all the money that we did not spend in the last fiscal year. We are rolling it over into the new fiscal year. While we did get a cut in our traditional formula funding for this year, having that cushion of what was not spent last year puts us above where we even normally are. So this is, we're talking, I don't have the numbers in front of me right now. Debbie might know better, but I think it's 1.2 million for youth to spend over the course of the next fiscal year. When we did some projections, we realized that we would have to serve about 150 youth, and our average per year is normally closer to 120. So this is very much a stretch goal for us. We would love to serve as many as we can and to spend as much of that money as we can. So we are really asking for your help. If you know of any just personal connection with a youth who is facing obstacles, is looking for work, may not even be in school, please send them our way. If you have any connections with people who work with youth, please let them know about our programs and what we have to offer so that they can get those students or young adults that they work with to come see us as well. So if you have any questions, definitely you can talk to me, or like Chris said, herself, or Lori and Elaine.
Hey,
But
hey,
Yeah, go ahead,
Jamie,
Kevin.
this is Kevin. How much did we transfer over or carry over from last year to this year in youth? Do you have that in front of you, or Debbie?
I'm thinking it was like 700. Actually, if you look on the SEP's provider contract budget, it says it on there. We carried forward 723,000.
Okay, because we just had a financial meeting yesterday, and we are spending, I think we're on target not to spend all that 700,000. We're on target to spend our allocation for this year, but we still got to spend the 700 from last year. That's where we're at right now. And if I'm wrong with that, Lori, please chime up. But from our meeting yesterday, we do have all the youth, most of the youth from this allocation this year accounted for, except for maybe 100,000. But all the carryover is where we're having the hard time. And right now with the youth, it's just, we're putting a lot of youth on in classroom training, but work experience, it's just really hard because youth can go anywhere and make $15 an hour working so many different spots. Why do they need us for? They can work somewhere 2 days and then go somewhere else for another 2 days if it doesn't work out because everybody's hiring. So but we are doing many things and contacting a lot of people and trying our best. So, and Lori can talk about more of that if you guys need to hear that. So.
Can I pause right here? I just let someone in their phone number. It's a 618 area code and the last 3 digits are 151. Can you announce who you are, please? To unmute.
Hi, this is Connie.
Awesome. Hi, Connie. Thank you. Okay.
You're welcome.
Sorry for the interruption. If anyone has a response for Kevin or any questions, floor is open.
Kevin or Lori, if there's something that I can help with, or, I mean, I know we'll talk about this more during our youth committee meeting on Monday, but if there's something that any of us can help with, shoot us an email, let us know if there's a group of people you want to get in and talk to and you don't have a way to get in, please shoot an email out to the group and see if any of us can help you get into those meetings or to talk to those groups or whatever that looks like.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay, if there's no further comments about the youth, we can move on to the training versus overhead report. As you can see, what we ended in June, we ended at 63.7%, which is well above the 50% requirement. So that ended well. And then just the overall, just for our numbers, we ended 59.1, which includes all the funding. So any questions on the training versus overhead? Okay, then we can move on to the service provider contract budget. That's just basically showing what steps money they could expect for their contract for this fiscal year. Of course, it will be changing as trade. I think we found out that we need to modify the current trade grant, but then we'll also be applying for more trade money starting for October 1st. So this will change in the near future, but this is what it was as of July 1st. And as you can see, the youth is a pretty hefty amount for the allocations, the PY21 allocations. Technically, the 80% of that is what we would have to have spent or obligated as of June 30th. So we don't have to spend the full 1.5, but it's actually 1.344 million that we should as of June 30th. So big mountain decline, but gonna try and do as well as we can. So any questions on that budget contract? Okay, we can move on then. Lori, did you want to say something? Oh, sorry. Okay, MOU invoices is the next one. We received the final payment from IDS, so we are all good to go for last year's MOU invoices, and we will start this process all over again in probably late November, so. No, not hearing any comments about that. Incumbent worker training. I sent both last year's projects spreadsheet and this year's, just to sort of show what we done for all of last year. We actually paid out over 68,000 in incumbent worker training projects for last year, so we were able to carry over $74,810 to this year. Add that into the 60,000 that we allocated out of the new grant. We started the year with 134,000. We've already paid out one so far, one project. We've got another one that is already approved. And I think Tony said that there's several that are possibly in the works. So before all those others get officially, we actually have a little over 105,000 that's currently available for incumbent worker training. Any questions on that? Okay, and the last thing I just wanted to touch on, the Lakeland annual audit that typically starts in late July, beginning of August, with the outside accounting firm. They did ask for a bit more information this past year, which I'm thinking maybe every so many years, they probably take a little bit more in-depth look at our programs. So I didn't hear any questions after I did submit the information, but we should receive the result of that in probably October. So that's all I've got for my report. Any questions on anything?
Fantastic. Can I get somebody to make a motion to approve the grant recipient financial agent reports?
So move. This is Chris.
And a second, please.
This is Kim. I can second.
Fantastic. Then we will need a roll call vote, please.
Okay, Kevin Busher,
Yes.
okay, Mike Conrad,
Yes.
Patty Metzger,
Yes.
let's see, Chris Gold,
Yes.
Kim Taylor,
Yes.
Carol Tracy,
Yes.
and Connie Walter. You might have to unmute Connie. Okay, if Connie has any objection, she can let us know, so. Okay,
Fantastic. The motion is approved. Ready for the fiscal year 20 LWIA 23 performance report, please.
Lori, you're still muted if you're trying to speak.
Oh, I am so sorry. I was just talking away. I'm done with my report, so sorry.
Sorry about that.
Now I have to remember what I was saying. Okay, the report you have in front of you, it's basically exactly the same as what we reported out back in June. We're showing an overall outcome as fail, and that is due to the youth credential attainment rate. We were only off by one customer. If they're, depending on how many people are in that pool, that's what they go by. And the dates, this was from 2 years ago, that the data they were pulling for this information. Other than that, you know, you can look and see we've exceeded almost every other performance measure at the end of PY 2020. Looking forward to PY 21 performance, you know, I checked it out and we're actually meeting the youth credential attainment rate for this year. So it just depends on how many customers are in the pool that we can count. And that's why the follow-up that our case managers do is so important, because we want to capture every bit of data that will help that performance reporting at the end of the year. So that's basically where we're at right now. And one thing I will say, there's no sanctions against us, you know, for having that fail on there. You know, we might have a little technical assistance down the road, but you know, these are something we look at performance weekly. So we know what's going on and we monitor that closely. So if there's no questions.
Thank you. Program fiscal ADA monitoring report, Tony.
All right, first we'll go over what DCO had given us in our program and fiscal monitoring. As of the last meeting, I think the monitoring was finished and completed, but we did not have a final letter. We finally did get it, and we responded to them with acceptable responses. But if you look at that letter, it looks worse than it is. Then we did have 7 findings, but every one of those, with the exception of maybe one, was a clerical error. So in my opinion, and doing this for 18 years, a clerical error is not a finding, but DCO has a different idea about that. So if you read through them, there is nothing in there that is earth shattering, that's going to make steps be at risk or anything like that. They do a great job. But like I said, all of these are just in clerical errors, not dotting an I and crossing a T, basically what it amounts to, so. That letter is, like I said, looks a little worse than it really is in reality. So, one other thing, we did have a monitoring back in PY 18, so program year 18. Randy Bishelty from DCO came down and did some ADA accessibility reviews. Before we got our final letter from them, he retired. Then the director in that department was let go. Our paperwork kind of got shuffled around and lost. So they just hired some new people to take over, and they found this and they thought they would try to complete it. So this one happened.
Yes.
So what you'll see in the ADA compliance monitoring, there's 8 elements to the methods of administration, which is designed by the Department of Labor. So we were compliant in all but 2 of them. And one of them is just the physical accessibility of our sites. So he had a review of all of Seth's sites and our one stop in Effingham, and he noted some minor issues with accessibility. Our job really is to just notify the landlords that, hey, these were items that were found, and please fix them. But we have no authority to make them fix them. We have asked DCO, the fiscal folks, if WIA dollars can be used to make these accommodations, and we do not have an answer. I'm afraid somebody's maybe afraid to answer it. I'm not sure, but we don't have an answer. But anyway, I sent letters to Kevin and Lori for the lease, because they are the leaseholder in all the outreach offices. And I sent a letter also to DES so they could send it up the chain for the Effingham office. And now it's just kind of a waiting game to see what we're going to do to make these accommodations and issues go away. So that is really it. I think the big thing that I want to take away from any ADA monitoring is that, you know, our programs are accessible. So even if our facilities might not be, our career planners will go to meet any customer anywhere at any time just to make an accommodation for them. So and we live in rural America here, and so we got to take some of the offices that we have, we got to take what we can get in some of the smaller towns. So it's you know, like you see the one in Robinson or whatever, they want us to build a new bathroom. And it's just not going to happen. It's not feasible. So anyway, that's a report that came from PY 18, so 3 years ago. And like there was another non-compliant on there that said that I did not go out and monitor our facilities annually. Kind of have an issue with that too. If nothing's going to change from year to year, seems kind of like a waste of time to me. But we will do our due diligence, and we will go out every year and we'll measure the same signs and the toilet heights and the water fountain heights and write it up every year that yes, we did this and it's not fixed, and so we move on. So that being said, those are the 2 reports from DCO. And I have not gotten any, I don't have the local monitoring because that usually happens in like March, April, May. So that's all I have for my report, Mike.
Well, thank you very much. Can I get a motion to approve the report given by Tony? I will approve the report. Can I get a second, please?
Second, this is Chris.
Fantastic. Thank you. Ready for a roll call vote, please?
All right, Kevin Busher,
Yes.
Mike Conrad,
Yes.
Patty Metzger,
Yes.
Chris Stroll,
Yes.
Kim Taylor,
Yes.
Carol Tracy, Carol, did you hear me? Okay, Connie Walter. Okay, if you guys might have just said it while on mute, so if you have any problems, let us know, so.
Thank you. Tony, can you give us an update on the board appointments, please?
Yeah, this will be real short and sweet, but this committee is in charge of all the policy and compliance and things like that, so I just wanted to let you know. As of October 1, the board is being recertified by the state. We have to do it every 2 years. That's the appointment forms that I sent everybody for them to sign and ask you not to date, that one. Right now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're gonna have 5 new members for sure. And we've got 2 that are vacant still in Richland County and Lawrence County. We do have a name for Richland County. We just have not got a hold of them. Still searching for an email and a phone number, going back and forth with a circuit clerk down there. Lawrence County, they gave me a name which did not qualify as a business sector person, so he's still looking. So as of September 30th, October 1, we need to submit our stuff to the state. And if we don't have all of this spots filled, we will be non-compliant. So I just want to let you know that. So if you know anybody in Lawrence County that could help Jim Brewer find somebody in a business down there that would like to be on our board, please help Jim Brewer. Yeah, this has been going on for quite a while and we've only got 2 weeks before this is due. So that being said, that's just an update, but since this committee is in charge of compliance, I thought you should know.
Thank you, Tony. Anybody have any other business? I'm going to take that as a no. Date and time of our next meeting. Deb, can you help me out with that?
I sure can. It is December 9th, and fingers crossed, it will be 4:30 PM. So we shall see as it gets closer. So, but Thursday, December 9th.
Great. I'm assuming there's no public comments. So can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
This is Kim. I can make the motion.
Kevin will second.
Fantastic. Thank you. And I guess we need a roll call vote on that?
We'll say we did.
Okay, good enough. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. We'll talk to you Monday.
Thank you.
See you Monday. Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Mike. Thanks.